Hello friends, this video will be part 3 of my story, my life with a narcissist. I want to start first though by giving a couple of shout outs. One day last week, Vicky Lund, Dr. Vicky Lund, from the YouTube channel Psychology Nor with Dr. Vicky Lund, I'll link her channel in the description, spent a good while on the phone with me, helping, offering encouragement and support and guidance, along with some of the, science behind what's happening, the technical, psychological factors that are at play here. She reminded me that I'm also part of this equation. I'm allowed to think about me, worry about me, take care of me, and that odds are not good Richard will ever be different. So that can't be the thing I work on, because I can't make that different. I can only take care of me. I can only be different. If I want to feel different, if I want to have peace, that's where I need to focus my energies. And I just want to share with you that I love her. She became a friend of mine through YouTube, obviously. I met her in a live stream chat, saw her actually in a couple of different live stream chats for channels that we both frequented at the time. I'm going to pull this closer. I hope it's still going to work. And we've had other phone calls, just getting to know each other, and of course I wasn't able or ready to share any of this with anybody until the last week. But I just want to thank her publicly for caring about me and for showing me love, for reminding me that I do have value, I do have something to offer, and for at least giving me hope that I can find peace, whether I stay here or not. And then I want to give one other shout out to Sparrow, Spaulding. Both of these content creators, they both have YouTube channels. Spaulding's channel is called Sparrow Spaulding. They were both guests on my Roundup shows. You guys can go and check out their interviews. And when I came across Sparrow Spaulding's videos, those really speak to my heart. Both of them know narcissism inside and out. They've both studied it. They've both treated people that have it, along with the partners of the people that have it. They both know the science and the psychology behind it. The Sparrow has a little bit more of a tell it like it is, no holds barred. I love that because I identify more with that. And I know Dr. Les Carter, who is another channel that I watch. I'll link Sparrow's channel in my description as well. Dr. Les Carter, another narcissism channel on YouTube. I think his channel is called Surviving Narcissism. I think he has a couple different channels, but the ones I watch are called Surviving Narcissism. And he shared in a collaborative video with Dr. David Hawkins, another great resource, that a therapist really can only take their patients as far as they themselves have been. I've heard that before, but the more I understand about what's happening and why I'm feeling like I feel, the more I understand why that's true and why it's so important to find the right source of information and work with the right people who can understand on all levels what's really happening. So, Sparrow spent almost 3 hours on the phone with me yesterday. It was very intense at times. She too in addition to just offering me hope and encouragement and validation, we all need validation. I mean, that's a human thing. Particularly, I guess, when you're feeling as lost and worthless as I have been feeling. So in addition to, again, the science, the psychology, the technicalities of what's happening and why it's happening and what can and can't be done about it, she reminded me too, I can't fix him. Love can't fix him. My bigger responsibility right now needs to be to me. I can get myself out of this hole, this emotional hole I'm in. I can't do it by myself. She reminded me that only God can help me get out of this. I mean, I have to do the work, obviously, but I really, literally have to let go and let God. And I shared with her that so many of my struggles in life have made me question him, have made me disappointed in him. She reminded me that, you know, my parents, all of us, our parents are our first glimpse or experience or ability to form a perception about God that we get. That's our first opportunity. He's our heavenly Father, but we have earthly fathers. I'll have videos coming up one day really just about the horrors of my childhood. I'm amazed at this point that I ever have felt as close to God as I have felt at times. But I know also He's literally saved me from the brink at times when I've been hopeless, when I have felt much like I feel right now. So I love her for reminding me, for helping bring that back to the forefront of my mind. So I'm working through her book right now, Uncaged. It's bringing up a lot of things I haven't thought about in a long time. Ironically, the more I've learned about narcissism, the more I understand that the causes of both of our struggles, my struggle, Richard's struggle, are likely very similar. I don't think he grew up in a physically abusive home or a sexually abusive home like I did. Maybe he did. But the last thing he will ever be able to do is acknowledge that. And that's what will prevent him from ever being different. So, check out their channels. I'm thanking both of you publicly. I love you both. You are beacons. You're my lighthouses right now. So this video, I want to talk about how love factors into this or doesn't factor into it. From my perspective, love finds a way, and through, all things are possible with God. And love is patient, and love is kind, and love is forgiving, and love is all those things that we were raised to believe and apply to life. But I think I've kind of lost sight of the fact that I'm allowed to love myself too. I'm supposed to love myself too. And what's that quote, an empty cup can't fill anyone else's cup, and that leads me to another video that I watched. Y'all, name it, I've watched hundreds of videos. Richard Grannon is another narcissism expert. He has a channel on YouTube. And Richard and I actually watched this video together, the one I'm about to reference. I don't remember what the name of it is. I'll find it, and I'll try to find it and put a link for it in the video. But he is very good at illustrating, writing on a dry erase board and drawing, shapes and things to help information get processed and sink in. And in one video, and I remember thinking at the time when we watched it, this makes it now, this should be so clear. Now he'll see it. This is so simple to see now. And it's true. This is what's happening. And now it's right here in this little two-dimensional but super effective graphic. And he drew a circle. Okay, the circle is me. The circle is the victims of narcissistic abuse. The circle is me. And over time, in the beginning, the circle gets filled with wonderful things because the narcissist is doing their love bombing, showing you the false self, the charming self, the funny self, the kind self, the thoughtful self, the considerate self, the loving self, the affectionate self, the sentimental self, the supportive and encouraging self, the validating self. And it fills you up. Oh, it fills you up and it feels so good. For people who are addicts, I'm addicted to caffeine. I've told you guys that. And obviously I'm learning now I'm addicted to how do I put it? I guess I'm addicted to allowing others to determine my value and my worth. Because obviously this is not my first bad relationship. In spite of all I thought I learned growing up. In spite of the fact that I left home at 17 because I refused to be hurt like that anymore. I refused to grow up that way because of what I was subjected to every day. I just decided, this is it, I'm done. I have not spoken to my mother was at my wedding, my first wedding. She just surprise showed up. Dad still don't even know where my dad is. Haven't talked to them in a long time. I only keep in touch with my one sister. My brothers grew up even more screwed up than I am. That's again for another video. But, so back to this video. So Richard Grannon has this circle, and in the beginning, the circle gets filled with wonderful, beautiful things. Things that everybody's circle should get filled with in a healthy relationship. By a partner who loves them, who appreciates them, who values them, who cares for them, who supports and encourages them, who fosters their growth as a person, who helps them on the journey of realizing their potential and identifying their gifts and finding ways to share their gifts with the world. I know there are some relationships like that out there. There are some, I know. I don't know that there are too many now based on so much of the feedback I've gotten and the emails and text messages and Facebook messages, and I don't know that there are really very many of them. But in this circle, the narcissist, fills you up to the point that you become addicted to how you feel because of someone who is so loving and caring and enjoyable and interesting and then a switch gets flipped off. I may have referenced that concept in another one of these videos. If not, I'll tell you, that's how it always goes. They say don't say always or never. That's how it always goes. Yeah, I think I told you about watching the video where one day you're in the ivory tower. You're in the top of the ivory tower. And the next day you're in the dungeon. Overnight, you're in the dungeon. You've been tried and convicted of being worthless and damaged and ugly and unlovable. One day to the next. It really did happen like that. Well, I'm a confrontational person. Confrontational, I think, in a healthy sense most of the time. That if I am upset or I'm confused or I need information, I go to the person. And so I might have let it slide for a week or so, but it was so obvious that there had been this drastic shift. And I did go to Richard and asked him if something happened, or was he just not attracted to me all of a sudden, how does that make sense? And of course he said no. All he could say was he was tired. That's an excuse he uses a lot. And every now and then, I think I mentioned the breadcrumbing in the last video. So every now and then he would, I guess, pull up some reserves and do something nice for me or say something nice to me, and that would make me think, okay, whew, good, whew, now we're okay. But again, back to this video, the Richard Grannon video. So I'm the circle, and then what starts happening when the flip gets switched, or the switch gets flipped, is that the narcissist then begins to cut little openings into the circle. And into the circle, from the openings in the circle, they take out your good. They take out your kindness and your humor and your generosity and your intelligence and your faithfulness and your loyalty and your... They take out the good because they need that. While the love bombing thing is happening and they're filling you up with good stuff, it's also filling them up with stuff, and that's why they're able to do the love bombing thing. So you're feeding off of each other. Again, in a healthy relationship where both people's needs are being met, that's kind of a simplified way to look at it. You're both filling each other, and by filling each other, you yourself are getting filled, right? But then that becomes tiresome because that's not the real person. The love bombing narcissist, that's not who they are. They are the person they become, or that they show you. Didn't become, they've always been that. When the switch gets flipped, that's who they are. And so the only way they can ever appear to be anything remotely like what they showed in the beginning that got you addicted is to take those things from you. Take those things they were getting while they were, you know, filling you up and got filled up. They're like addicted too. They take them, and they take them by lying and manipulating and gaslighting, and over time doing things that literally, I'm not going to say you, make me feel crazy, hiding things, okay? Things that I use frequently, or maybe not even frequently, that I always keep in a specific place. And so I can go to that place to get them. But this is a common occurrence for us, that I go to get the thing and it's not there. So my first thought is to try and remember, oh, did I put it somewhere else? Why would I put it somewhere else? It's always, you know, the nice 999 times I've used it, I put it there. And it's not there. So then I look everywhere else. Like I'm frantically looking because I need the thing. It's my thing, like it's something only I use. And it's not there. I can't find it anywhere. I don't look in, you know, clothes closets or underwear drawers. Why would I put it there? Unless I'm crazy. And then Richard comes along. He gets home from work, or he finishes whatever he was doing or not doing so that he didn't have to help me look. And I ask, have you seen my whatever it is? My dog cookie cutters is the most recent thing that happened. And he'll say, no, where's the last place you had them? In that kitchen drawer. And then I'm still looking, or maybe I've just stopped looking. Maybe I've just decided I'm going to have to go buy some more cookie cutters now because I can't find them. And then guess what? He finds them. And he comes to me. It's always the same scenario regardless of what the object is. Is this what you were looking for? Yes, where did you find them? They're in that drawer where you said you always keep them. The drawer where I looked like at least 3 times, like I took everything out of the drawer even. And that's happened. No, when I look back, that's happened so many times. And what's happened for me is that it makes me think I'm crazy. It makes me think I'm crazy. That I could look at it and not see it. And it's one of the many dangerous, evil tactics that Richard has used. So over time, again, he cuts those holes in my circle, pulls out anything good, my love for life, my love for living things, my friendliness, my honesty. He pulls those out because that's what he uses then when he goes to work or if we're out around other people, so that they all say, he's just the nicest guy I ever met. Oh my gosh, he's so funny. All the same things that when I met him and the love bombing was happening, all the same things that I would say about him. He pulls those out and he puts in his misogyny. He puts in his nothingness, because that's what this ultimately comes down to. He has nothing in and of himself. He has nothing to give. He has nothing to offer. And he knows that. He hides that. He has to hide that. Who would not be sick if they literally had nothing? Well, psychopaths or narcissists. But he can't face that. He could never let anyone else see that. And so he does seek out people that have qualities that any healthy person would want in a partner. But he seeks them out not because he wants to support them and encourage them and grow them. He seeks them out because he doesn't have them. And he takes them away from the person. So he pulls all that good out through the openings that he's cutting into me with the lying and the manipulating and the gaslighting and the crazy making, the devaluing, the discounting, the minimizing. Not encouraging, not complimenting, not supporting, not nurturing, not loving. There is no love. Narcissists are incapable of love. If you don't remember anything else from this video, and which is why I'm titling the video, What's Love Got to Do with It? Narcissists cannot love. That is so foreign to me. That is so like the opposite of me. I'm not going to say I'm always loving. I'm not going to say I am perfect or that I've got it all figured out, even when I'm not in the middle of a relationship like this. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that at the bottom of everything that makes me feel like I have a purpose is love. I need to love and I need to be loved. And I have filled my life now with some things that I love. I love my animals. Have y'all figured that out yet? I love my animals. I love my garden. They feed me and they don't abuse me. And they don't take advantage, and they don't hurt my feelings, and they don't gaslight me and lie to me. They don't take away from me without giving back. Maybe that's funny to say about ducks and geese, but it's true. I know they love me in their way. They're bonded to me. It's real. It's real. It's a real connection. It's a real relationship. And whether or not they love me back the same way I love them, their love is what I need. What they show me that feels like love is what I need. And what felt like love from Richard in the beginning is what I needed. But that was not real. That alone has been so hard to process. He can't love because some experts will say that narcissists have no empathy. Some will say they have it, we all have it, but they don't access it. They do not use it. They ignore it, they deny it, they suppress it, they hide it. Which is irrelevant. It's irrelevant whether they have it and don't use it or they don't have it at all. It is not displayed. What seems like empathy or love in the beginning even is not real. It's an act. It's an act based on what they've taken from other people who do have empathy and who do know how to love and how to show love. They take that and they act it out. It's an act. It's a ruse. And it's displayed specifically for the purpose of getting the other person hooked, making the other person believe this is what I can have with this person. And that's not why they do it. That's not why he did it. So, all the little holes, all the little slices, the gashes, the wounds in the circle, where all the good stuff gets pulled out. It's not that it leaks out, it gets pulled out. And all the garbage gets put in. So that over time, this is why I don't even like myself lately. Because I don't even know who I am. I'm not that circle that started out now. I'm not that. A lot of what was in there is gone. And there's a lot of garbage in there that I don't like. I know this may seem really oversimplified. I don't want it to be real technical. I just want you to know how I feel. I want you to know what it feels like. And I know some of you are feeling this too. I know some of you are living this right now. I know some of you have lived it. So as far as my relationship with him, as far as any partner's relationship with a narcissist, love has nothing to do with it. You can love them till the cows come home. And where it would work in a normal relationship, in a healthy relationship, love could be the answer. Love could be the bridge. It doesn't work that way with Richard because he does not have love. He cannot have love. He can't show love. He can't feel love. He can't feel my love even. He can't feel it. I'm sorry. He can't feel it. And so I wanted to read a couple of the letters that I referenced in the last video. Maybe I referenced them in both videos. And I'm reading them because for me, and again, I'm going to apologize if some of you are really turned off by me sharing this or being emotional in a video. I'm sorry, but I'm not doing it for you beyond that I know someone out there can identify with it and will know they're not alone. But I'm doing it for me. I have to get this out. I have to get it out in a big way because it's been stuffed inside of me in a big way now for too long. To the point that I don't like who I am. I don't want to be this. And so I'm reading the letters because what's in the letters sits before the date of the letters. And I'll tell you because I have the dates when I wrote the letters. These were letters that were written to Richard as part of an exercise from a couple's relationship help book I read years and years and years ago. Before Richard even, I read it the first time. I read it again when things started getting bad for us. And everything in the letters, even though some of the circumstances have changed, we don't live in the same place, we don't have the same jobs, the feelings are the same because the behavior has been the same. In fact, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And for anyone to be stuck in this for this long, yeah, it hurts. It's maddening. It's crazy making. You know, and lately now, because he's aware of these videos I've been watching, he knows I talked with Vicky and Sparrow. And so he's trying to act nice, saying things like, you know, I see it. I don't want to be this way, y'all. It's probably 1,000 times out of the last 5,800 or 6,000 days that I've, again, same song, 6,000th verse. I'm going to be different. I'm not going to lie to you anymore. You'll see. I'm gonna. And maybe it is a little bit different for a few days or a week, a month maybe. But then it goes right back where it was. In fact, it's typically worse than where it was, and I think there's like resentment, like he resents that he had to do something different or be different or act different because it's not him. To him, it feels like faking it when he is a healthy partner for me. He doesn't feel like he's faking it when he goes out into the world and acts all charming and the opposite of what he is here at home. But I think he resents having to fake being a good partner here at home. So, first letter, and this was the first one, at least the first one that I saved or that I found on the computer that I had saved, so that, I typed it so that I could print it, and I read it to him the first time. I have brought these letters out 2 or 3 times in the last 15 years. I mean, these were written 13 years ago, so in the last 13 years. And I've had him read them. And he even gets emotional at times reading some of them, parts of them. But then it goes nowhere. I don't even know what that is now. I don't even know what that is now when he reads something that causes what looks like an emotion in him. Because the only emotion he displays to me, that he chooses to display to me, is anger. Maybe that's why I'm so angry, because that's what he's filled me with, is just anger. Not sadness, not despair, not confusion, not disappointment, not heartbreak. Anger. Everything is about anger. There's some lessons on passive aggression for you. It's about anger. Alright, I'm just going to read. I'm going to try to get through the whole letter without stopping and interrupting myself to offer more details. I'm happy again to answer questions if you guys have questions. This first letter is dated March 28th of 2010. I can't do things with you and your family anymore because it's too awkward and uncomfortable having to pretend that we're something we're not. You and I are not a family. I sat for a long time today trying yet again to understand how and why you would resist really growing the relationship and allowing it to progress by fighting, albeit in your passive way, so hard for so long against letting things happen naturally when they were good and acting on good feelings, but then be so easily able to accept and go along with all the things that have made us grow farther and farther apart. You've never fought against those painful, unfair things that make the distance between us greater. You only fight against the hopeful, positive ones. We haven't even slept together in so long. Are all of the things we don't do together some that we've never done together that have moved us away from each other emotionally, not as obvious to you as they are to me? Do you not understand the concept of cause and effect? Because you fought against what would have been the natural effect of both of us being happy and in love and loving each other so that we grew together as a couple and had a real relationship. You caused the other effect. You damaged the relationship and made things unnatural. That means you damaged me. Surely my emotional state lately shows you that. I know that you genuinely have no idea what it does to someone to be hurt over and over by the person they love who used to act like they loved her too. I'm sure you just think that at some point I changed and became overly demanding and critical, and that you saying you're sorry should have made things better. But I've been the one who tried to fight to have what I will always believe would have been the logical, natural, and good effects of loving you like I do. You've only fought against those very things. everything that hasn't gone the way I wanted it to go and believed it would go based on everything you said and did that made me fall in love with you has been the stuff that's so easy for you to support. You never fight against those things. Seems it's been impossible for you to not fight all of the things that would have brought me what I wanted and believed we could have. Do you not see that? I still can't see how you might say you do. And I feel like once I got to the point where I was too frustrated and sad and confused and angry to hold it in anymore, my outbursts and the arguing were just bigger reasons you used to keep fighting against what was good and natural before it got to that point. I know I'm partly to blame for that because I let you get away with it for so long. I'm still very disappointed. I still cry before I finally manage to fall asleep at night. I'm still convinced that you will continue to seek out ways to make sure we never have any kind of true emotional or spiritual connection with each other. I'm sure you think I just stay up late because I'm a night owl and I'm not being responsible about going to bed at a decent hour. But it's just gotten too hard to not replay things over and over in my head and wonder how and why things are like they are and why you stopped loving me like I felt you did those first 6 or 8 months. I look at myself now, and it's obvious why a man wouldn't want to be involved with someone like me. But I can't seem to understand why things started going bad long before I got to this point. I honestly don't think we can ever get back to a good place. Although for you, I've begun to believe that you think things are good if I'm not screaming and crying. The absence of strife is not necessarily peace. I know it takes a lot of work for two people to be happy and stay together even when they love each other. But when only one person is doing the work that supports the natural progression, while the other one just finds ways to put things off and sabotage her efforts, it can never work. I also know that you want me to believe that you will somehow finally show me what I want and need to see, that you'll do what you say. But you can't believe that having the kinds of perks that come with having a real relationship should apply when we don't have a real relationship. Me being grateful for something I feel you do only because you feel forced to do it only makes me scared and resentful. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a severed limb after it's already been gone for a long time. Question mark, question mark. All of that just brings up even more that disappoints me and makes me sad. So no more family stuff with your family. It's really hard for me to know that I shouldn't have the kids over here either, because I feel the same kind of stress believing I'm having to pretend that we're something we're not. And that's just another thing that pushes us farther and farther apart. I know I've typed a lot of words here, but you know I still can't come up with anything to complete that exercise in the book I read, and that alone pretty much says it all. I wish I could say I love you and feel like I mean it, but I don't even know what that means now. It surely can't mean I feel like this. All I can say is I feel completely lost and afraid and alone now, even though I'm pretending like I don't. So obviously there's some references to things. I don't remember what exercise in what book I might have been referring to at the time. This was March of 2010. But everything I describe about how I feel in that letter is how I feel now. Is how I have felt every now. Is how I felt for at least 2 of the 3 years before I wrote the letter. I didn't know about narcissism then. I mean, obviously I think I'd heard the term. I don't know what I thought it meant. I didn't know that's what it was. I had learned about passive aggression before then because it was very obvious when the switch got flipped that he is very passive aggressive. I don't even know how much energy it must have taken to hide this from me during that love bombing phase, that first, 6 or 8 months. It probably wasn't even 6 or 8 months. I realize that. I don't guess it takes people that long to get addicted to something. So there's the first letter. That's dated March 28th of 2010. There was one other letter between that letter and this letter, but I don't want to read all of them. And this one's even longer than the other, but I'm going to read it, and that's going to be all for this video today. And I just want to reiterate that a big part of my struggle with this is that I love him. I think I still love him. I love him enough that I want it to be good. I want it to be better. I want him to be healthy. I want him to know what love feels like. But that's not what's going to change it. Nothing will change him. There, I solved the riddle right there for you. Nothing will change him. I've made the mistake of watching too many Sam Vaknin videos now. And I understand now why he can't change. All right, I'm going to the next letter now. This letter is dated April 12th of 2010. So about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks after this other letter. I've been so sad and disappointed for so long already with you, and we haven't even been together 3 years. It hurts me to feel like nothing I've ever done was enough for you. It really hurts to feel like you stopped being attracted to me and you stopped wanting me. It hurts to feel like you're ashamed of me, that you aren't proud of me. It makes me sad that we never socialize with people or spend time developing friendships together. It hurts me that you never shared so many parts of your past with me. It hurts to believe that you lied to me from the very first time we went out. It makes me so sad to still believe that we could have had so much fun together. It makes me sad that I had to stop dreaming about being married to you and spending the rest of my life with you. It hurts me to remember what kind of man I thought you were. It really, really hurts to have been lied to, whether it was something small or not. It makes me so sad to have to think back to all the things I've suffered, and yet I still don't have what I want and need. It hurts that you agreed to things, have made promises you didn't keep. It makes me sad that I can't be comfortable intimately anymore. I'm so disappointed at all the times you put something, everything, anything ahead of me or what I wanted or what we had planned, even if it was just for an evening or a weekend. It hurts me to not be able to trust you. It makes me sad that I can't sleep with you because you snore so much that I can't go to sleep. It hurts me that you made me wait to have everything I wanted until after I cried and screamed and threatened to leave you. It hurts me to feel like I've had to work to earn your love. It hurts to know that you still haven't told me the real, whole truth about your past and your relationships. It hurts that you act like you don't trust me, even though I haven't ever lied to you or betrayed your trust. It makes me sad that you never had kids and that we can't have kids together. It hurts me to have spent so much time thinking and reading and talking and arguing. It makes me sad to feel like all the time we've been together was wasted. It makes me sad to see that those things meant nothing and couldn't fix anything. I want you to trust me. It makes me sad to know that the person I love most in the world isn't able and willing to give me the things I need most in the world. I want to stop being so sad and disappointed. I want to feel safe. I want you to know and feel and believe that you're safe with me. I'm so afraid that you don't love me and that you never loved me. I'm afraid one day I'll just be considered a mistake that you might not even tell someone you're involved with about. I'm afraid that everything you say is a lie. I'm so scared that I'll come home one day and you will have changed the locks and I won't even have a place to live. It worries me to feel like you've really been telling me all along that this isn't what you want, but I was the one who has emotional problems that kept me from doing what needed to be done. It scares me to think that you've had an affair or wished for one. It scares me to think I'll never be happy or find what I want. I'm afraid of waking up one day and 10 years have passed and we still aren't happy. I'm afraid of losing you. I'm afraid I've hurt you without even knowing it at times and that I deserve to be this worried and lonely because of it. I don't want to be afraid every day all day long. I don't want to keep worrying that you hate me and I just haven't gotten the hints. I'm so scared that I might not ever trust you or be able to forgive you. I'm scared that you'll keep doing the things you've been doing that have made me suspicious and confused. I'm afraid that all we'll ever have is what we've been having. I'm afraid of waiting any longer because I just think it gives you more time to hurt me and push me away. I'm so afraid of what the next step would be if we can't get back anything good. I'm worried that you'll never approve of me. I worry that you'll always be critical of me because of what you know about my past relationships. I'm afraid you're still in love with Kelly. I worry that something really bad happened to you while you were in the Middle East that messed you up, but you won't tell anyone about it. I'm afraid you're mad at me for something or lots of things, and you'll always make me pay for it, even though I'll never know what all I did. I wish I wasn't so terrified of what you'll do next. I feel guilty for treating you badly when I've been angry. I feel responsible for so much of your inability to trust me and feel safe with me because I've lost my temper. I feel responsible for things getting this bad because I failed to act on what I learned and believed early on before it would hurt so much. I feel guilty for not letting you know even sooner that I was disappointed and hurt. I feel responsible for helping to make things so bad because I pretended things were okay in front of others. I feel guilty for believing that I was unworthy of your love and commitment so that I couldn't stay hopeful anymore. I feel responsible for putting you in a position to think about things from your past that you aren't ready to deal with. I feel guilty for not being more thorough and asking questions about your past before I got involved with you. I feel guilty for letting you into my children's and grandchildren's lives only to have to consider now that they might lose you too. I'm sorry for getting so angry and lost and hostile and not just leaving you before I reached a point where I wanted you to hurt because of it. I feel guilty for all the times I've wished something that bad would happen to you that might wake you up and realize how I feel. I feel guilty for not being able to understand that your family is more important to you than anything else. I'm sorry for making you give up Jake. I'm sorry that I can't give you children. I'm sorry I have trouble remembering why I ever loved you sometimes. I'm sorry for being stuck in my anger. I'm sorry I haven't done a good job of thanking you when you do things that do make me happy. I'm sorry I quit my job and went back to school. I'm sorry I've nagged you to change and fix things. I'm sorry for the times I've said things to the kids that made you feel embarrassed or bad in any way. I'm sorry for making threats that I knew I didn't mean. I'm sorry I don't want to wait any longer. I'm sorry I can't figure out anymore how to make things better. I'm sorry I'm not making enough money for us. I'm sorry I play on Facebook sometimes instead of interacting with you. I'm sorry I've gained weight and I don't keep my hair colored anymore. I'm sorry I'm not in good physical shape so that you would want to show me off to your friends. I'm sorry I don't like your family anymore. I'm sorry I've become so hateful. I'm sorry I can't talk to you about anything now without it turning into an argument. I'm sorry I've been so stubborn to make you see things my way. I'm sorry I lost hope. I want to heal things even if we still find we can't be together. I want to remember all the good things about you that made me love you. I want you to be happy. I'm so very sorry I made you unhappy. I love it when you make me laugh. I love it that you have beautiful blue eyes. I love doing things outside with you. I love it that you work to make money to support us. I love it that you love my kids and Cadence and Melanie and Eamer and Baru. I love it that it's important to you to look nice and dress nice. I love you for giving me a chance to be with you. I need you to help me remember when it was good. I need to remember how to help you love me again. I want you to love me. I want to show you that you can trust me. I forgive you for procrastinating. I forgive you for not being completely honest with me up to now. I want to go back to a place where I enjoy dreaming of a life with you. I want to be excited when it's almost time for you to come home from work. I want to show you that you can be honest with me. I want you to trust that you can share anything with me. I want you to want to interact with me and talk with me. I want to prove to you that I want you to be happy and that I won't leave you. I want to be able to talk about a happy future together. I need to know that our time together has served a purpose. I need to spend time enjoying things with you. I forgive you for criticizing me about my second marriage. I forgive you for laughing sometimes when I was really hurting. I forgive you for letting other things get in the way of us growing our relationship. I need for us to grow. I need for us to grow together. I need to feel close to you in every way, physically, spiritually, socially. I want us to one day be an example for the people around us of how to make a relationship work. I want to be able to learn all the secrets of being happy with you. I want to never look back and admit that I lost something so precious. I want to know that one day, when I can't speak or go outside or interact with you anymore, that you'll still know how much I love you and that it was all worth it because you helped me be the best person I could possibly have been. I want to know that your life has more meaning because of me. I need to know that you love me and that we can fix things. I love you so much. It's so hard to not really be able to feel it and show it anymore. I need to get that back. I love you. I love you so much. So a couple of points of clarification for the letter. Jake was his dog. He had a dog that he and his ex shared custody with. I don't remember now if I've told you guys this or not. And they traded off, and Jake would be with one of them for like a week at a time and the other one for a week at a time. He had some behavior issues that I felt at the time even were related to that. The lack of stability in where he was. Different schedules, different rules. And then I came into the picture, and now I'm taking attention from Richard, and Jake's behavior problems seem to get worse. And he tried to kill my cats anytime that he came to my apartment, and I had 2 cats, Eeyamur and Baru. And Richard had agreed for a long time that he would, get him in a training class, or that he would go to training with him and just try to help him learn how to behave. He didn't want to consider that the shuffling back and forth between the 2 houses was taking a toll on Jake. And we broke up a couple of times. Before these letters, we had broken up a couple of times. But he would get back and promise me things. One of those was he promised that he would, again, get Jake trained. He would work with Jake. And he promised that he would let Kelly was his ex-wife. I think I've shared with you guys, yeah, because in the last video I told you that's how I learned that he'd really been married twice before I met him. And that he never went to the Middle East. He was never deployed. I made reference in that first letter about worrying that maybe something bad had happened to him in the Middle East, like PTSD, that maybe that's what was happening, only then to learn later that he never even went to the Middle East. When I confronted him about that, I told him that she told me he'd never gone to the Middle East, and I asked him why he lied about that. And he said, well, I wanted to go. I really wanted to go. We were trained to be deployed. And then it was that he knew Gerald was going to be deployed, and he knew that that was a bond that we would have. That if I thought he had been deployed and he had been in combat and he'd gone to the Middle East, that he would make us closer. He never considered that the secret would be discovered. He has a lot of secrets. And I reference being hostile and angry. Yeah, I can get loud. I'm an emotional creature. And when I'm hurt and I'm angry, yeah, there can be screaming. There can be cursing. I'm threatening to leave him. I'm threatening to kick him out. Those are the kind of threats I'm referring to. That I'm sure I didn't mean when I said it, but I just am so desperate to get through to him. But he can't feel anything. Again, referencing Sam Vaknin again, world-renowned expert on narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder. He's diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. He's a professor of psychology. He lectures on narcissism. In a recent video I watched of his, he said a lot of narcissists, many narcissists, maybe most narcissists, when they learn what's going on with them, when they learn that they're a narcissist, they genuinely want to change. That's genuine in the beginning. They can see it, they're connecting the dots, they then realize at the moment that what their spouses or their partners have been telling them, that really is how it's gone. They really know that they have hurt the person they're supposed to love and care for. They really want to change. And that some of them can modify their behavior for a short time. It's never long term. It can't be long term. Because what they are not able to do is feel what they would need to feel if they really got it. They can't process what it means to be a narcissist because they cannot feel it. Dr. David Hawkins says, that to change, for a narcissist to change, there has to be a breakdown that leads to a breakthrough. So Dr. Hawkins still holds on to hope that it can be fixed and that narcissists can change, although he admits it's very rare. He does admit that. Richard and I watched that video together also. And afterwards, so after we watch these videos, we do talk about them. It's interesting to me that often the most impactful part of the video for me, that I feel like is the most important thing he needed to hear, he doesn't even remember it. So regarding that statement that Dr. Hawkins made about there has to be a breakdown that leads to a breakthrough, and he describes what he means by a breakdown. That's like rock bottom, where the narcissist has nothing but himself to face, his past, his emptiness, and feel the feelings that would be associated with that realization, which is what they can't do, what Richard can't do. All Richard remembered him saying was, there has to be a breakthrough. And I asked several times, but what has to happen that leads to the breakthrough? Well, you realize you're a narcissist. Okay, and you realize you're a narcissist, and when you really process that, what happens? Then you have a breakthrough. And we just went round and round in circles. I played that part again from the video. He still skimmed, like couldn't say the word breakdown, couldn't even say it. To me, which that means he understands what it means. That he did hear all that Dr. Hawkins said, but he can't acknowledge it. He can't accept it or process it or do anything with it, because he does know what it means. None of this is that he doesn't know. This is not lack of awareness. This is not psychosis. He often is not in touch with reality, and he does deny to the point of being unaware of a lot of things. But I then finally just said, after playing it, the clip again like a third time, he says there has to be a breakdown that leads to a breakthrough. And Richard's response to me was, I don't have time for a breakdown. That pretty much ended the conversation for me. Pretty much told me all that I need to know. And so I've been really confused. When I talked to Sparrow yesterday, that was the beginning of the call, that I am feeling so confused because he's watching a lot of these videos with me, or he'll see a video that I'm watching and then he watches it on his own. Supposedly, he'll make notes about it even, and he comes to talk to me. He's come to me to initiate discussion. That's new. But it doesn't feel any different than, again, a lot of other times when we've talked about things and there's been discussion, and then I'm going to make sure the camera's still running, y'all. Okay, it is, thank goodness. But then it goes nowhere other than for me to get some double doses of being devalued and degraded and minimized and filled with more garbage, while he goes out and does his charming, funny, interesting act. Thanks for hearing me out again, friends. This is agonizing at times. And again, the letters. So the letters, it's been 13 years since the letters were written. The letters were a culmination of a couple of years of experiences before I wrote them. And yet I'm still there. That's where I still am. I have good days. Again, I have found things that I have chosen to put in my life that remind me at least a little bit every now and then. You guys remind me, this channel reminds me I have something to offer. I'm sorry that this is happening, and now my channel that was supposed to be just for education and encouragement is now turned into a place for me to vent and dump my sorrows and heartaches. But I also have always wanted to share my life with you, to share myself with you. I want you to know me. I don't want what happens on my channel to be an act. I don't ever want to feel like if you knew me in real life or we met somewhere that you would go away thinking, well, she is nothing like she is in her videos. I don't want that. And I need connections with you. I need real connections with you. And I don't know how to do real connections without love and honesty. So if you sometimes wonder, why am I so passionate about animals? Why am I so passionate about rescue work? I'm a rescuer, y'all. But it's time for me to rescue myself. It's time for me to let God do the rescuing and rescue me. So I obviously am going to be hopeful about sharing some videos about that part of the journey when it comes up. I think there will be at least one more video now for this series on my life with Richard, the narcissist. Because again, there's lots of channels, lots of great therapists, lots of insightful, talented, educated people that are sharing the details about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. And I will invite you to look up reactive abuse. I had no idea, I'd never heard the term. When I was apologizing in the second letter, all those things I'm apologizing for, right? Me feeling guilty. All the times I said, I feel guilty for this. It was me being real. It was me having empathy. It was me processing that, yes, I screamed at him. I cursed at him because I was hurt and disappointed and angry and confused and lost. But I've learned about reactive abuse, the golden nectar of narcissistic supply, because he has no ability to feel and or show feelings. He must live that out through me. So all the turmoil, all the angst, all the agony, all the heartache, all the pain, confusion, loneliness, loss that he suffered decades before we ever met, that's what he's hiding. That's why he can't feel. If he allowed himself to feel, then it's too possible that empathy would creep in. If empathy creeped in, then he would be convicted and on his knees, not able to speak or eat or go to work. He would have a breakdown. That cannot happen. He cannot allow that. He doesn't have time for that. So he has to get his feelings expressed through me. That's part of what passive aggression is about. Passive aggression is about anger that is not allowed. Anger that's denied and suppressed. That's been carried around forever. This is not something that happens because as an adult he got into a bad relationship. This is something that he has had his whole life. So I have to feel my own feelings because this is a very painful existence living with him. But I have to feel his feelings too, the feelings he doesn't even feel. And so he gets a high, narcissists get a high off of making another person act out emotionally, cry or scream or throw things even or threaten. He's addicted to that. All narcissists are addicted to that. That's why he needs me to feel bad. He can't allow himself to feel bad because it would be agony, y'all. Inside, if he really, really dealt with it, he feels 100 times worse than I do. I've learned that now. So I have to feel my feelings and his. And I'm already a very emotional person. It's agonizing. It's tiring. It's crazy making. But again, thank you for letting me share it with you. I will have positive updates at some point. I'll commit to you to do that. I'm working through Sparrow's Uncaged book. She's given me some exercises. She's going to check in with me once a week. And I just can't even say. I feel like I'm a relatively articulate person. I don't know how to say to you what it does to me, even though this is like a virtual reality thing, virtual relationships through the internet, through YouTube. But I can't tell you guys what it means to me to feel like I have you. Thank you for that. I'm sorry that's making me cry. But it's that important to me. I don't feel so alone right now when I feel like I can talk with you. But I can't be on camera 24 hours a day. So thank you for that. Check out my garden update video from yesterday. There's where a lot of my joy comes from. I took a little video this morning because I have flowers blooming on my squash plants. I only saw two female flowers. The rest are all male flowers right now. So cross your fingers that I have some good little pollinators visiting. And I'm going to put myself on a pace to grow in healthy, positive, natural ways by the grace of God and with His help, just right along with my plants. Okay? There will be a harvest. There will be a beautiful, bountiful harvest. I like thinking about it that way. Makes me want a puppy now. Or a kitten. So, have a wonderful, beautiful day. I hope this was not a downer for you. I don't mean for it to be a downer. I know it's going to be a downer maybe for the ones who really can feel what I'm feeling. The other empaths out there. For those of you that maybe don't have that strong a gift in that area. Just know that what you see on camera isn't the whole picture ever. Ever. I'm sure what I'm sharing here is still not the whole picture. I don't know, will I ever be ready to really lay myself that bare in front of all of you? Maybe, maybe not. I am excited about one of the exercises coming up in this book. I need to get myself a little journal, because you're supposed to have a separate journal, because it's a lot of work, a lot of writing. I told Sparrow, I texted her last night or maybe this morning, and told her I'm shooting for 10 pages. I think she said in her book that the longest one she got back ever from a patient was 17 pages, single-spaced, maybe double-spaced. I'm shooting for 10 pages, and I've lived a long time. I've got plenty to share, and it's just my life, writing my life. What do I remember about my life? How far back can I go? I've already, again, it's already stirred up some things that I hadn't thought about in a long time. And so I'll share that story with you guys one day too. Because I have come out on the other side of some horrors. Granted, obviously not well equipped enough to have a healthy relationship, but enough that I have done some amazing things in my life. I've devoted myself to some worthwhile causes and have used my gifts in ways that benefited others as well as myself. So, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for watching. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Be safe, be happy, be well, please be well. Be blessed. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.